An AEW star was referenced on Monday Night Raw, and MJF has revealed the details behind a backstage controversy. But first, there were some major surprises on WWE Raw. Last night on Monday Night Raw, AJ Styles found himself in the ring with the Judgment Day faction, who have been trying to recruit him to their ranks over the past few weeks. Styles would go on to tease that he was accepting the offer before clarifying that the family he needs isn't Finn Balor, but somebody else. The Good Brothers would then make their way to the ring to give him some backup, who make their first appearance in WWE since their release in April 2020 at the height of the pandemic, shortly after their involvement in the main event of WrestleMania Night 1 in the Boneyard match, once again backing up AJ Styles against The Undertaker. Since then, they have been signed to Impact Wrestling whilst working New Japan dates on the side, rejoining the Bullet Club in the process. They are now back in a Bullet Club themed storyline, teaming up with former leader AJ Styles to take on the founder, Finn Balor. One of the most surprising aspects of the return is the fact that Carl Anderson is still the reigning never openweight champion, with him scheduled for a New Japan match against Hikuleo on November 5th at the Battle Autumn show in Osaka, leading many to wonder if the title will now be vacated. It seems that the match is still at least on New Japan's radar, as they would release an updated card for the show this morning with the never openweight match still being listed, although there was no mention of his WWE return. Whether the match stays on the card in the coming days remains to be seen, but it is possible that WWE agreed to allow the match to take place unless Machine Gun is set to burn a bridge with New Japan. Another surprise would happen later in the night, this time before Bobby Lashley's defense of his United States Championship against Seth Rollins. As the Almighty called Seth out, he would instead be greeted by Brock Lesnar, who was reported to be backstage earlier in the night by Fightful Select. He would drop Lashley with 2 F5s before Rollins won the title from him after taking advantage. Lesnar last wrestled on July 23rd when Reigns defeated him to retain his WWE Undisputed Universal Championship in the main event of SummerSlam, with him now seemingly set for a match with Lashley at the upcoming Crown Jewel event in Saudi Arabia on November 5th. Another interesting note regarding another potential surprise emerged last night during the show, as it was reported by both PW Insider and Fightful that Vincent and Dutch of the Ring of Honor faction The Righteous were also backstage, although the nature of their attendance is still unknown. As of now, they are yet to appear on WWE television, although perhaps they have their eye on a switch to the company in the near future. The two men have appeared under the Tony Khan version of Ring of Honor this year, dropping the ROH World 6-Man Tag Team titles to Dalton Castle and the Boys, this at Death Before Dishonor, although they are now currently free agents. But what do you make of last night's WWE surprises? Let me know in the comments down below. And next up, a free agent has revealed why they didn't want to join the Dark Order. Following the passing of Brody Lee back in December 2020, rumors began to emerge over who could take over as the group's leader, with 2 main candidates on the lips of fans. The first and the most obvious choice was Bray Wyatt, who led the then Luke Harper back in their time in WWE as the Wyatt family, although as we now know he has rejoined WWE, with him seemingly set to lead a faction named the Wyatt Six instead. The second most likely name was Eric Rowan, who was Brody's tag team partner for the majority of their WWE careers. Well, this week, speaking with NBC Sports Boston, the now Eric Redbeard would reveal why he was reluctant to join AEW's cult-like faction, before clarifying that it was never on the table to begin with, and he would say, "It was never a conversation. I was doing and pursuing my own things. At that time especially, I didn't want to be that guy that distracts and always reminds people of a loss, especially that quickly. And with Dark Order, I wanted nothing to do with it. And that's not to say like I'm better. What I'm saying is I wanted nothing to do with it because that's his legacy. Like, if it's gonna fizzle out, I want it to fizzle out. But he made it and created that in such a quick amount of time. I want that to be the memory of him. His TNT Championship, his dog collar matches, I want that all to be held up here. I wanted nothing to do with that. So like, even if there was a conversation, I wouldn't have seen myself having a slot there." Despite the lack of developments in terms of adding him to the Dark Order, Redbeard has made several appearances in AEW, first at the Brody Lee Tribute edition of Dynamite, with him most recently linking up with Danhausen on an episode of Rampage in August 2022, losing to the Gun Club in tag team action. But do you think AEW made the right decision to avoid adding anyone to the group, or do you think that Redbeard could have revitalized them the same way Brody did? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And next, more matches have been announced for the upcoming Wrestle Kingdom 17 show. In January, New Japan Pro Wrestling will hold their biggest event of the year, Wrestle Kingdom, live from the Tokyo Dome on January 4th. On the heels of yesterday's announcement of the main event of the show, which will see G1 Climax winner Kazuchika Okada take on IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Jay White with the title on the line, we now have more details on what will happen on the rest of the show. Following the announcement of the NJPW World TV Championship, the 16-man bracket for the tournament to crown the inaugural champion has now been announced, with the one-on-one finals set for January 4th at the Tokyo Dome. David Finlay is set to take on Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Alex Zane will take on Zack Sabre Jr., Yoshihashi battles Jeff Cobb, Aaron Henare will battle Evil, Sanada will take on Taichi, Hiroki Goto goes one-on-one with Kenta, Ren Narita finds himself across the ring from Tomohiro Ishii, and finally Toru Yano takes on Great-O-Khan. New Japan have announced that all tournament matches will be contested with a 15-minute time limit, and if the match goes the distance, the winner will be crowned via a coin toss, adding a sense of urgency to score the victory. Elsewhere at Wrestle Kingdom, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship will be on the line as Taiji Ishimori defends against El Desperado, Hiromu Takahashi, and Master Wato in a four-way bout. This after the longest gap between title defenses in the belt's 35-year history, with New Japan playing up Ishimori's refusal to defend the belt. And next, an AEW star was referenced on Monday Night Raw. At the end of Raw last night, D-Generation X would celebrate their 25-year anniversary, and in attendance would be Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Road Dogg, and X-Pac, although there was one notable absentee, that being Billy Gunn, who is of course currently All Elite. Leading up to the show, fans speculated if his absence would be referred to on the show, and in the end, WWE chose to mention the elephant in the room. As Road Dogg did his usual ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls bit, he would allow the crowd to sing the badass Billy Gunn portion of the routine. This before commentator Corey Graves made reference to the now Daddy Ass's run in AEW. Graves would remark that the other guy is doing something with office equipment these days. This of course a nod to Billy Gunn's current run with the Acclaimed, who used the catchphrase "Scissor me daddy." According to Fightful Select, the idea of bringing Billy in was at least tossed around internally, although nothing ever materialized. Either way, the reference was in good fun and was far from the burial during the DX Hall of Fame induction, where Triple H referred to Gunn's employers as a pissant company, with things being much more light-hearted this time around. But what did you make of the Daddy Ass reference on Monday Night Raw? Let me know in the comments down below. Next up, MJF has revealed the details behind a backstage controversy. One of AEW's top stars is MJF, who recently returned from a hiatus after a supposed falling out with AEW management over his contract compared to his colleagues on the roster. The situation came to a head on the weekend of Double or Nothing back in May, when he no-showed a meet and greet after an apparent real-life disagreement with AEW president Tony Khan. Max was originally scheduled to appear at an official AEW fan convention the day before the show, before no-showing, leaving his scheduled match with Wardlow the next night up in the air, with reports emerging that he had booked a flight out of Las Vegas before the show. Talking about the situation on Not Sam Wrestling this week, MJF gave his side of the story, discussing why he no-showed, and revealed AEW's response to things, with them calling for a wellness check in his hotel room, and he would say, "My company lost $10,000 that day, and I say my company because they are employing me, for the time being. I did not go because my boss at the time was being a fucking mark. If you don't want to pay me what I'm worth, Daddy does not show up to work. Daddy got the money, Daddy is back. Now me and Tony Khan are best friends. Tony Khan, great guy. When I stayed in said hotel room, they did a wellness check on me, and the AEW security, this is a very true story, tried to break my door down. At the time, I had already left. They did the check, he literally went to kick my door down on a wellness check. That was everybody's fear. Is this MJF's Brian Pillman moment? No, it was MJF trying to make what MJF deserves to be making." MJF would then have a message for those that he disappointed that day, with him adding, "I have understood that there are some people who are really let down or offended. What I say to you is, I don't care, get over it. I am happy now. If you're a fan of me, you should be happy too, because I'm stupid rich. I was rich before, but now I'm so rich I don't even know what to do. If you want the fans to see me and experience me on any level, pay me what I'm worth." He did, and we're cool. It appears that the grievances between MJF and Tony Khan are settled, at least for now, with MJF said to have received a higher salary whilst not having to extend his contract beyond January 1st, 2024. Right now, MJF holds the Casino Ladder Match poker chip, which grants him a shot at the AEW World Champion anytime he likes, something he won upon his return at All Out last month. At least in storyline, MJF plans on winning the belt before his contract expires to use as a bargaining chip when negotiating between WWE and AEW in the bidding war of 2024. And before you go, make sure you check out 10 UFC fighters who are perfect for pro wrestling.